it's literally from last corner. Let me get out.
pit lane window is open between 15 and 30 minutes into the race. It's a 60-second stationary stop plus any penalties. 5 seconds for car 1 Scott parking, 10 seconds for 3 Ben McCauley, 15 for 8 Tidmarsh and Webster, 5 for 12 Liam Crilly, 10 for number 14 John Monday, 15 for number 15 Graham Crowhurst, 15 for number 18 Simon Morger, 5 for number 20 Daniel and Stephen Cogswell, 5 for number 36 Sam McKee, 10 for 53 Johnny Weston Taylor and Andy Hiley, 10 for 69 Matthew Hampton and Andy Schultz, 5 for 150 Colin Gillespie, and 15 for number 195 Samuel Dennis. The sun is trying to come out here at Donington Park for the first Roadsports race in nearly 2 months. Silverstone on the international circuit in August was the last time out, and this the 6th and concluding race of the season for Josh Barrow.
Yeah, that's right. As you said earlier, there's been loads of different winners this year. It's been a competitive season for Roadsports. Scott Parkin won at Croft and Silverstone, Chris Boyan won at Snetterton, Johnny Weston Taylor and Andy Hiley won at Cadwell, and Simon Major won last time out at Silverstone. And that's just in the overall order, lots of different winners. Even the classes. Class B has been won by someone different every time. The only dominating driver in some ways has been Sam Dennis. He's won 3 of the 5 races in Class C, and he's also had a very good season in Club Enduro, but that will come tomorrow. But it's in big grids all year as well, hasn't it, Ian? And we've got a full capacity grid here as well, with Chris Webster, as you said, became a reserve when the car broke in qualifying. I'm afraid something's gone very wrong for the MGZR of 104 Mark Purcell. It looks like it's been off, and now it's cooked the engine.
Yeah, and it's reversing, fortunately, behind the barrier, but there's telltale grass on the circuit like it's been off into the barriers. 4 classes: Class A, Super GT, cars up to 300 brake horsepower per tonne; Class B, the GT class, up to 240 brake horsepower; Class C, the Super Sport class, up to 180 brake horsepower; and Class D, the Sport class, up to 145 brake horsepower per tonne. The red lights are on the gantry, but the safety car is still out because of that incident that has happened. So we are going to have another lap behind the safety car. The clock has started to count down, so the 45-minute race is underway, but the car's still behind the safety car because that incident from Mark Purcell. There is another car behind the Tidmarsh and Webster Ginetta in the pit lane, just trying to see which car that is. That's another car that we set for a pit lane start.
Mark Burton, perhaps?
Could be, but it looked like a 2-digit number, which is about as much as I could give you.
That's another car that didn't qualify 25th, so I'm not sure. We've got onboard camera here with car number 6, Ryan Parkin, who is 35 today, so happy birthday to Brian, as obviously is his twin brother Scott.
I was going to say, let's not forget Scott in all of that. And Scott is up there on the second row of the grid, Ryan a bit further back on row 5. Ryan driving solo today was in the programme to share with Dylan Britt. So we've also lost from car 19. James Pitford's no longer driving that. Car 28 is no longer entered. We've lost 117 Martin Gadsby, so Ian Jones is driving solo. We've gained some drivers as well. 183 Edward Cook starting that car alongside Stephen Cook. 221 Luke Browse now starting that car with his father Paul taking over further on. We've got one more entry completely, which is the number 22 car, which is Andy Bicknell and Maximus Bicknell at BMW as well. That is the way that the programme looks. We've had a few changes to the programme, but a very big grid, more than 40 cars we have, although not certainly one of them being started by Mark Purcell. Interesting to see that Dave Connell and Alex Wilkinson-Hughes are out there, but now in a Mark IV MX-5. They had a big crash, did they not, in Silverstone last time out in Roadsports, and they debuted in a Mark IV, so just see that at the back of the shot, the red later model Mazda MX-5. So as you say, the race has begun officially, although we are still under controlled conditions. A great mix of cars this is, isn't it, as they come up to the top of the hill there. You've got TTR specification cars, you've got the BMW Compact on the front row of the grid, that car that Martin Gadsby has developed. Ian Jones driving it today, very rapid indeed. The lap times in qualifying perhaps not as tight as we'd normally get because of the tricky conditions we've got today, and the conditions I don't think are any less tricky at the moment. If it stays like this, whether the track will dry during the course of this 45-minute duration, we will see. But there's a huge variety of cars. You've got the Audis of the parkings, you've got the BMWs, all sorts of models, including the M2 that's near the front, that Andy Schultz qualified in 5th place, and then further back, Hondas, Renaults, Volkswagens, Lotuses. So yeah, it's a fantastic entry, as always, from Roadsports, and it's going to be a great way to end the season. So we've got 42 minutes left on the clock, and we're going to get the race underway this time. The safety car lights are out, And so with about 41.5 minutes left on the clock when the safety car pulls in, we'll be off and racing. In fact, already the green flag and green light panels are showing, but you can't overtake before the timing line.
The red lights are still on, so
Red
it should
lights
be a
are still
proper
on
run
the
start.
gantry, so it should be a side-by-side rolling start. Red lights are on and they go out. Away we go then for 41.5 minutes of racing, and it's a good start by Ian Jones in that BMW compact. He slots in front of Darren Ball in the number 25 Seat Cupra, and it's a side-by-side a bit further back. That's Will Beach alongside Scott Parkin. Scott Parkin in the Audi just prevailing ahead of the white and red and black Cupra of Will Beach. So they're turning their way through Hollywood, down through the Craner curves for the first time, and Ian Jones in that BMW compact is already pulling out a few car lengths over Darren Ball in second place.
Yeah, one of the oldest cars on the grid then leads the way. There's the M2 which has been started by Matthew Hampson. He's got Ryan Parkin on the outside. The Class B leading Honda has come through really well. Was that Will Puttergill that started? No, it was Chris Nyland who started the goal. Big slide there from Darren Ball as he was braking between Schwarzkopf and McLean. But yeah, that Honda leading Class B, making great progress on this opening lap by Chris Nyland. But Dan Sylvester's Honda having his first outing in Roadsports this year. Going with him a change for the lead at Coppice. Darren Ball, who almost lost the car just 2 corners earlier, takes the lead at Coppice in. So it's all entertainment. He's lost the lead again.
He has on the exit of the corner. Ian Jones has gone back through in that number 117 BMW, but he's got that big Seat looming up behind him of Darren Ball, and then it's Scott Parkin, number 1, in third position. A few lengths further back behind these two, who are herring their way down the hill with the sunshine glinting off the cars now, which is a pleasant sight to have here at Donington. They turn their way through the Melbourne hairpin, and these two looks like we could be in for a good battle between them. We'll see if Scott Parkin can get involved in this as well. Looks like it's still Will Beach in fourth position in the number 82 car. We'll pick up what's going on in the classes as well as this race goes on.
Big slide again there from the leader. Change, where's Ian? Oh, Ian Jones is right there, isn't he? Ahead again. As you mentioned, you couldn't see him for a moment, but it is Jones that leads. Second then it's Ball, third is Parkin. Will Beach having his first Roadsports out in this year. They're in fourth position. Colin Gillespie up next in fifth. Sylvester's got the Class B lead back away from Chris Nyland, I noticed, so that's going to be another battle to monitor during the course of this race. But it's a super impressive development, this E36 compact, isn't it? A 1990s car. Standard would make 150 odd brake horsepower, but this one produces in excess of 300 per tonne, and it's driven really well by ex-Compact Cup front runner Ian Jones.
A 3.2 litre engine aboard this BMW. 25 then Darren Ball behind him, a more sort of purpose built, as it were, for its purpose racing car, rather than developed in the way that BMW has been. These two have pulled out a decent gap, haven't they, over Scott Parkin in third and Will Beach in fourth. And there's another gap back to Colin Gillespie, who's there in fifth. Ryan Parkin trying to make a move possibly on Luke Browse in the Stowmarket glass car for sixth position in the background as well. Those two more or less side by side. No, they're not quite as they come down to the Fox Yeses, but Ryan Parkin is thinking about looking up the inside into the first element of the Fox Yeses, but decides better off it. It's going to be tricky, you would think, to make a move at that part of the circuit in these conditions. Turn their way out of Melbourne hairpin again. The top four, Jones, Ball, Parkin and Beach, making their way up. It was Dan Sylvester that was leading in Class B. Class C was being headed by Sam McKee in his BMW E36 328, and he was the best of those cars, and it's the Cogswell Nissan Almera that's the best of the Class D cars at the moment. So we're working now lap number 3 of the race, and it's Ian Jones leading the way.
1 minute 50, which is actually slightly quicker than he went in qualifying this morning, but slower than what Darren Ball did, so they're roughly on those qualifying times. Good battle of a third then between Scott Parkin, who is 35 today, ahead of Will Beach, the driver who's been racing in TTR UK in that car, but driven by Colin Gillespie today, the Volkswagen Golf, who has Luke Browse in the Stowmarket glass Cooper all over the back of him. He twitches sides in towards the old hairpin, but can't make a move. Luke Browse has been driving this car well this season, the Suffolk driver. Then Ryan Parkin's dropped away a little bit. Then Graham Crowhurst returning to 750 Motor Club Racing today. He won this equivalent race last year. He did 8th.
So here's the battle going on for 5th position, and it's the Golf, the Capture Motorsport Golf up against the Stowmarket class. Brower's car. Back into the lead of Class B has gone the Chris Nyland and Will Puttergill Honda Civic Type R ahead of the Dan Sylvester car.
Here they are.
Just into shot now. There is, you can see Sylvester's car, the older Honda, ex-Chris McCloy car from Hot Hatch. Here is this battle going on for 5th and 6th position. Looks like Ryan Parkin has sort of reattached himself to the back of these two. Must have made a small mistake, just dropped back a little bit. Seems to drop back on terms now with Colin Gillespie 150 and Luke Browse number 221.
Challenge down into the hairpin much later on the brakes is Luke Browse, and he looks like he braked perfectly there, didn't he, on the limit, but he got the car turned in. Front wheel drive car then scramble for grip out of the corner, and is this going to give Gillespie a chance to fight back in the Williams Motor Company liveried Golf? Around the outside he tries to come, can't get there. Gillespie's driven a huge amount of different cars over the last few seasons, hasn't he, in various 750 Motor Club categories. Out in the Golf for the first time today. Lead is still Ian Jones, but Darren Ball chasing him now through Hollywood. The gap just 0.6 of a second. Ball was a fraction quicker on the previous lap. The BMW Compact leads the Cupra. Gap back to Scott Parkin, who is in 3rd spot, ahead of Will Beach, and a much larger gap has developed to the 5th place car there, 2:21. Luke Browse, who's now pulling clear of Colin Gillespie after passing him just a few corners earlier.
Yeah, but he's already 7.5 seconds behind the car in front, which is Will Beach. He's got a little bit of time to make up. Of course, we do have the penalties that have to be served by many of these drivers in the pit stop, so that those could well come into play as well as the race goes on.
Doesn't affect the top two in the race, though, so this close battle between Ian Jones and Darren Ball is one that really should be unaffected in that pit stop period. They don't have to change drivers either. Looking in the background there, the Class B lead is still going the way of Chris Nyland, but Dan Sylvester was chasing after him. So that's one to monitor. I think Class C is still the same. Sam McKee has got a good lead over Sam Dennis, which is a very impressive feat because that Honda Civic of Sam Dennis has won every racing club enduro this year. But Sam McKee in these wet conditions, 7 seconds ahead. Yeah,
that's right. Sam, who was out last weekend at Mallory Park in the Mazda 7s, although that didn't go entirely to plan, just after his engagement as well. Congratulations to Sam. His engagement just over a week ago now. As we've got 34 minutes of the race left to go. Darren Ball, another fastest lap of the race, so as conditions improve, the times are coming down. The 1 minute 50 barrier has now been broken at 1:49.335 for the car in 2nd place, and the gap has come down to 57 hundredths of a second. There is the Class B leader going through, the number 83 car, but not desperately far ahead of Chris Nyland, but trying to make up a place on the car from the class ahead, which is the 69 car, but that in a straight line doesn't really work, does it? Because Matthew Hampson on the straight line able to pull away a little bit from the Honda.
Notice there were some dry patches appearing on the circuit as they came past us. So that, if the conditions stay like this, should continue throughout this race. The lap times will continue to come down. So there's Hampson in that M2, a car that was built by BMW Motorsport, raced in Italy over the last couple of years, but it's been shipped to the UK by Matthew Hampson and Andy Schultz to race this year. Big challenge for 7th. Ryan Parkin versus Graham Crowhurst, the Audi TT and the BMW M3. I think the only M3 on the grid, isn't it, today for Graham Crowhurst. So they turn their way into Coppice Corner.
And the spinner in the background.
It's Claire Norman, I think, in the Cupra, isn't it, out of 12. And there she is.
That's unfortunate because that's into the gravel at McLean. So the marshals, as you can see, fantastic work as if from the marshals heading down there to try and see if they can get that car moved without the intervention of a snatch vehicle or recovery vehicle. That would be the ideal, because it would mean we'd have the most chance of getting the race continuing without any disruption. And
an interruption soon would be a pit stop frenzy time, I think. We're 2.5 minutes away from the pit window, so we'll see what happens there. Lap traffic has begun. I think within the BMW 116 has been lapped of Andy Bicknell, and I think we're about to lap Martin Auger's Toyota, who's having his first ever race today. He's not far though. I don't think behind the Class D leading car, the Cogswell Nissan, you can see just coming across the line, just been lapped. So there's a Lotus off the road. That's 2:58. Michael Watson in his Lotus Elise. That's down the Grainer curves. He has rejoined.
Yeah, so that's briefly off the road and back into the race, which is good to see. So we've got 31 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. Pit lane will open in just under a couple of minutes' time then. That's the 55 car. And I have to go back there, I think, with Matt Creed. Yes, that's Simpson and Stanton battling with Matt Creed in the two different classes. Creed, a Class B car, the BMW from Class A. Meanwhile, this battle for 6th place continues. Ryan Parkin against Graham Crowhurst. So that's certainly one that we'll keep an eye on. And it's Crowhurst now that is ahead in that BMW M3 with a fantastic livery on it that he's put a lot of effort in. And yeah, that's the Norman car, the Seat there, just at the back of shot, just turning its way through Poppy's corner. That was the car that was off the McLean. So good news there, Josh, that's out of the gravel trap. You can see no car in the gravel trap as McLean's. Great work from Marshals. Thank you very much for that. Let's continue our race.
Yeah, I didn't think that would be possible because they're not light cars nowadays, these machines. But yeah, you can see Claire Norman, who's been racing with the 50 World Cup this year with Alan Blenko. And they'll be out tomorrow as well in the final round of Club Enduro. The result's not going to come from this race, but it's good the car is out, as you say, out of the gravel, because that means we can carry on racing, which is the good news in all of that. The Ginetta G40 goes a lap down. That's David Griffiths, who's purchased that car recently from Maiden Hills. We've seen the Hills Motorsport crew run that car in Roadsports previously, but David Griffiths having his first outing in it today, just on a lap down to Ryan Parkin in the Darkside Audi, 310 brake horsepower car. We can ride on board with Ian to see how we lap that Ginetta. Yeah,
we're going to do it, I think, on the way into the Melbourne hairpin. Get a very good view, sight-on view of Graham Crowhurst's BMW, so we could admire the livery of that car. But it is a bit of a distant spec now, isn't it, for Ryan Parkin, who is heading up towards the hairpin at Goddard. Now, the pit lane window is now open with 30 minutes still on the clock. Is he going to go in with? We're not going to find out whether he goes in at that time.
So he continues on his way after 6 laps of racing. Ian Jones now pulling clear from Darren Ball, 2.4 seconds a gap, despite Ball being fractionally quicker on best times. Scott Parkin is third, 4th is Will Beach, 5th is Luke Brown, 6th is Graham Crowhurst after moving ahead of Ryan Parkin on that lap. Still Chris Nyland, who leads Class B by 1.3 seconds from Dan Sylvester, and Liam Crilly is third. Then Sam McKee leads Class C from Sam Dennis in second, and in third is Kiefer Del Piero. And then Class D is being led by Stephen Cogswell with Martin Auger behind. What's happening here though?
Class B battle's about to come over the crest of the hill at Coppice. There you can see Chris McCloy in the number, what number is he? Not Chris McCloy, the ex-Chris McCloy car, Dan Sylvester 37 car, just behind the Nyland and Puttigill car. Not a lot to choose between them. They're right behind Matthew Hampson as well, so it's 63 and 37, the two leaders in Class B at the moment, and it is just, sorry, 83 I should say, and it is just the Chris Nyland car that is ahead. There's a bit of traffic for them to deal with that time as well. These two running in 10th and 11th position overall. The Hampson car is in 9th place, and they're putting a lap there on the number 144, Richard Longdon, E46 M3. So there is no going through.
Yes, no, it's absolutely. They're not able to get past Hampson, which might just be costing Chris Nyland some pace. Chris, who was a championship contender in the Type R Trophy a couple of seasons ago, out in this Motorsport Honda that will be contesting the Clubman Cup title in Club Enduro tomorrow. I think that was Claire Norman, was it not? He peeled off in the background. We've also had the cook, Sirocco, has pitted, but most staying out at this stage.
And do you reckon that someone waiting to see if there is going to be a safety car maybe in the next few minutes before they make a decision about whether to stop?
You think that might be an idea. It's not necessarily that it will actually gain you advantage, because you could get held at the end of the pit lane if you time it wrong. There's a great battle there between these two different Honda Civic generation cars. Dan Sylvester did return to Hot Hatch a few weeks ago in Alton Park, where he took a couple of victories, but I don't think he's done huge amounts of racing this year. Maybe an MR2.
Did MR2s at Croft and got airborne there at Tower Corner in in the second, but it's raised over the back of title contender Adam Lockwood's car, which was a dramatic departure from the race. He wasn't scoring points there, I think, just as a guest effectively that weekend.
Although I think he's doing it tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I think so. I'll check Patrick Mortel what the situation is with the points for tomorrow, because that could be important as the MR2 Championship comes to conclusion. But meanwhile, we've still got the Roadsports race going on here. Class B lead still being contested by the same two cars.
Ian Jones on the lead has pitted, while Darren Baldspin, the first driver, getting to 148s today to set the aimshot.com fastest lap.
Will Beach also into the pits, I can see as well.
So there is the Claire Norman changeover to Alan Blenko. Alan Blenko, who raced the British Touring Car Championship in the production class 20 years ago or so. There is a drama. Perhaps Alan Blenko wasn't expected to take over just yet, because he's having to put his gloves on while in the car. Obviously, we saw that car in the gravel earlier on. So an early changeover. They'll perhaps be hoping for some better weather conditions tomorrow. And of course, it should happen, I think.
Yeah, of course, it is a 60-second stop here that they have. At least a 60-second stop. Not like in the Enduro tomorrow, where they have 3 minutes when this refuel is done as well. But evidently, that's a little bit more of a relaxed stop potentially that they have tomorrow. So back in for the race goes Alan Blenko, the former British Touring Car Championship driver, and now pretty well down the order after that car was struggling in gravel for the better part. Well, I can think still some gravel being shaken out of it now as Alan continues to circulate.
I think that was a 2-minute pit stop, just to show that that wasn't expected to be perhaps in when it was. But into the pits, as we said, Ian Jones, that's I guess the more important one to keep an eye on. Oh, there's another car off, and it is the car we were talking about earlier, the Mark IV MX-5 Alex Wilkinson Hughes. However, the MX-5 is obviously a half-decent rallycross car. Can he get out of the gravel? But he's trying to find a space in the traffic is the other problem, of course.
And there's a lot of it. There's the MR2, number 27 Shaw Trainer. He's out tomorrow to try to wrap up his first championship in the MR2s in a Roadster, and he's just behind the number 7 car at the moment, which is the Edward Ruppert and Daniel Perridge in FG40 GT5.
I reckon Ian Jones's pit stop from pit in to pit out, so includes more than obviously just the mandatory minute for stopping, was 1 minute 39. So that is something for Darren Ball to try and gain some time on, if there is any time to be found, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, there's Trainer, which is talking about him, and he is being. This is going to be lapped, isn't it, by the number 69 car, Matthew Hampson, also the Class B leader as well, which is still number 83, which is Nyland.
Chris Nyland got caught out there, though, by the car going in the pits in front of him. That's given Dan Sylvester a chance to draw alongside in this Class B lead battle, and Sylvester's made the most of it, carried the momentum out the corner, which Nyland wasn't able to do. I think he was on the inside of the BMW, which needed to come into the pit lane, so Nyland had to get out of the throttle, and that has lost him the Class B lead. And just wondering if they have, neither of these cars have won in Class B before, so there's a good chance that we could have 6 different winners in Class B in 6 races this year. If Sylvester goes wide, he's up the curb, and that's going to give a chance for Nyland to fight back here as they head up the hill through Schwartz Curve and towards McLean. So a great battle in Class B, but Sylvester has held on for now.
Yeah, just lap the 16 car as well, which is the John Peerless Type R from Class C, which is having dramas in qualifying. And having another drama there, it's had a big moment. But Peerless has got it pointing back in the right direction again. But
that's Liam Crilly putting the lap in him, who's not far behind the top 2 in Class B. Liam Crilly, yet another driver who's not won in Class B this season. So I think there's a very good chance we're going to have 6 winners from 6 races in this class, which just shows you how competitive it has been. Okay, not everyone does every race, but quite a lot have done multiple races, but no one's been able to win it twice.
So Andrew Cooper in the 413 Honda Civic being lapped there as well. The veteran for the 750 Motor Club, amongst other things. So now we've got a different leader in Class B, and as you say, the Z4 Coupe of Liam Crilly closing on them. He's gone past Andrew Cooper now as well. Start the climb back up towards Goddard's with 22 minutes left in the race, 22.5, so exactly at half race distance, 7.5 minutes till the pit window closes, and off has gone Matt Creed there in the number 23 Clio, which was well positioned.
He's gone a long way off at the Melbourne, but yeah, that's probably the best it's gone this year, isn't it, Matt Creed? I think so. got a supercharger on the car this year. He was running 4th in Class B, but just had a big trip through the gravel at the Melbourne loop, but I think has been able to rejoin.
Still quite a lot of drivers yet to make their stops. We've got an interview in the pit lane. Let's head down to Matt Suckling and see who's got to talk to. Thank you very much, Matt. So race continuing. It is Darren Ball that's yet to make his pit stop. Number 25 that still leads. Number 1 Scott Parkin in second. 221 Luke Brown is third. 15 Graham Crowhurst is fourth. And it's 150 Colin Gillespie. 37 Dan Sylvester is sixth overall and still leads in Class B. All of those yet to make their stops. We've got Ryan Parkin in the pits at the moment, I can see, and also the Fenwick Shepherd car. That's also the next car that has made its stop. 150 car on screen now is that of Colin Gillespie, the Volkswagen Golf, and he's in 5th position, Josh.
Yeah, Ryan Parkin's pit stop is quite long at the moment for him. He's headed out now, but 1 minute 59, so that is a bit longer than Ian Jones. It was 1 minute 39, so he's lost 20 seconds, I believe.
And there was no penalty that he had to serve. I'll just check that as well.
Assuming this data that I'm receiving is accurate.
Yes.
But it did feel like that car was in the pit lane a bit longer than maybe it should have been. So this is Andy Schulz now in 69, isn't it? He's taken over from Matthew Hampson. Schulz, who's 56. Started racing in 1989 and was a 750 Motor Club Formula 4 champion some years ago. So good to have Andy Schulz over these last few years back with the 750 Motor Club. And a very experienced racer, mainly GT cars in recent years, and he's in this BMW M2. As I was saying earlier, they transported over from Italy in the winter. Factory BMW Motorsport built car, mainly full racing at the Nürburgring. And you can see it's got its Nürburgring Ravenel number board on that car still. John Peerless is in. He said that he had a few dramas in that first stint.
Matthew Stelling getting into that car now for the second part of the race. You can see also next to it the Luke Vrow's car. Paul Vrow's will taking over the number 221 Stowmarket Glass car.
It's a bit tight, isn't it? But hopefully that's okay. Lots of cars coming in now, including Chris Nyland in 83. Dan Sylvester has carried on in their Class B battle. Their best laps, perhaps unsurprisingly since how close they were, just 6,000 of a second different, Chris Nyland and Dan Sylvester. Obviously Nyland has to hand over to Will Puttergill, so it'll be a different driver in. Dan Sylvester will be staying in the car.
Yes, that just makes things a little bit easier, doesn't it? Less to go wrong, less time to be taken up there.
Just saw Tom Stanway there, driving his local circuit from Derby in his BMW 328i. Just come out the pit lane. There is Ryan Parkin, who has rejoined down in 23rd, so that does sort of suggest it was a long pit stop. Whereas Ian Jones is 10th and just set the fastest lap at 1 minute 47.4, over a second faster than anyone's done so far.
Yeah, I mean, the track is visibly drying out now, isn't it? You can see that. I mean, lap record for these cars, for context, is a 140.40 set by Josh Lawson last September. Now Scott Parkin's gone even faster, at 147.149. He's second at the moment, yet to make a stop, but Darren Ball is now into the pits. The race leader, number 25. Darren Ball into the pits in the Seat Cupra. There's quite a few cars coming in now because there's not many more opportunities. There'll be 17 and a quarter minutes left to go. Mark Burton, I can just see driving into pit lane as well as about to come out. You can just see on the right hand side of the shot there the Class B lead protagonist, which is now going to have been taken over by Will Puskey, number 83.
It might be ahead of Andy Shaw. Some of those cars were battling on the circuit before the stops. There is our new race leader. In reality, Scott Parkin with Darren Ball in the pit and the fastest lap, as you mentioned, Ian. So Scott Parkin motoring on his birthday, the driver from South Yorkshire, who's only been racing since 2019, but he's had lots of success in that time. Last year's Club Enduro champion, this year's Provisional Class A champion in this new car to him this year, the ex-Slide Sports Volkswagen Racing Cup built car, the 2017 Audi TT, but now with a diesel engine in from Darkside Developments. There's our Class C leader, Sam McKee, in the pit lane in his BMW. See all the trophy stickers on the car to show how many times that car has won races over the last few years, and he's hoping to add another gold sticker to that car after today, should the second sticker go well. So Scott Parkin's got to come in this time, because that is just a minute of the pit window left.
That's right, so he should make his way down the pit lane this time. I can see number 3, Bespoke Macaulay, his Class C Lotus Elise is in, indeed, number 1 car is in as well. And we need to get Dan Silvestri in as well, don't we, at this lap, and also the Sam Dennis car, Class C front runner. Those cars all get to make their stops.
This is showing Darren Ball's pit time, pit in to pit out, was 1 minute and 1 second.
Okay.
Which is either incorrect information or there could be a problem overhanging that car. So we'll see where he comes out in comparison to Ian Jones. If he's a long way ahead, I wonder if the regulations have been read wrong by that team.
Yes, well, we'll have to see how that pans out. There is the number 1 car, Darkside Developments Audi TT. Beautifully presented car, stealth looking thing. You can see the fans blowing to keep the air cool, engine cool in the pit stop. Water bottle's been handed over. Scott's refreshed himself and will be back out into the race in a moment. Pit window now closed. Confirmation coming up on the screens as well for all of the teams. Looks like F1 has made it into the pits eventually, which is good. Just a question mark, as Josh was saying, about the length of one of 2 of the pit stops. I'm sure the teams downstairs will be timing the stationary times in the pit stops as well.
There's Darren Ball. He's going to cross the line ahead of Ian Jones, with Ian Jones nowhere in sight. So that would sort of back up potentially the data. Well, the gap is 7.6 seconds, so it's only a much bigger gap despite Ian Jones setting the fastest lap. So yeah, we'll let the timekeepers and the officials check the real times rather than the unofficial times.
So that's a 3 minute 14 lap, effectively, that he's done compared to sort of 1:48, let's say, being a quick lap. So that's only about 1 minute. That's about 1 minute 30 something, isn't it?
I don't believe there's data on those.
Yeah, okay.
Because Scott Parkins is showing something different as well. Either way, though, Ian Jones has lost time in that period because he's behind both Darren Ball and Scott Parkin. But yeah, I think that data that I was being fed is incorrect. So GSL will look at the real data and the timekeep and the officials downstairs time in the pit stops will check that too. Either way, Ian Jones has lost time in the pit stops. And Scott Parkin, of course, had a 5-second longer stop, did he not?
Yeah, the penalty to serve.
So, Ian Jones has lost time. Scott Parkin has gained time, but Darren Ball has come out best of all. He's in the lead.
He was on pole position, of course, Darren Ball, this morning. Did a 1:49.585, so has now managed to go a couple of seconds faster. But the new fastest lap of the race has gone to Andy Schultz, a 1:46.973. And in 8th position overall in that number 69 car. And he has just gone fastest of anyone by a little bit of a margin as well. We'll see if he can make up more places. He wasn't too far behind Colin Gillespie at the start of the lap, and so that's a possible move that could be made there. As we're watching Darren Ball, the de facto race leader, just lapping the Tom Stanley BMW there. As into the pits has come number 6, Ryan Parkin is in the pit lane from 12th position.
We were pretty sure his pit stop was long, weren't we? So perhaps that was a problem with that car. But here's the gap then, 4.2 seconds between Ball and Parkin, with a further 3 seconds back to Ian Jones. So that is the chase between our three protagonists in this race. And yeah, there's Ryan Parkin, that car's in the garage and out. So I'm sure Matt will be on the case to find out what's going on there. Interestingly, they're putting fuel in, are they not?
Yes, possibly so. We just interesting. Looking at the class situation, Class B, we just need to. It's been done by Dan Sylvester.
We've got to wait for him.
So we've got to wait for him to cross the line again. He was one of the last to make his stops. Of course, we'll see if he's still in the lead of Class B.
Class C, Sam McKee has come through ahead of Sam Dennis. So
what's the gap there?
Big, I think. Sam Dennis yet to take the go across the line. He was behind anyway, and I had no pit penalty to serve. I don't. Oh, he did, didn't he? 15 seconds, if I read the right line. So that'll go out more. So yeah, I think Sam McKee's got a very convincing lead in Class C, and then in Class D, that is still the Cogswell, 24 seconds ahead. So they look good there as well. So really, Class A is up for contest. Class B across the line, Dan Sylvester is 11 seconds ahead of Liam Criddy, who's now ahead of William Puttergill. So a bigger gap now in Class B as well.
Yeah, so that's opened up. Class B, 11 minutes of the race still left to go. That's the number 9 car that you can see. Obviously with typography for Del Piero, Lethian Simmons. There's the number 1 car, that's the car in second place of Scott Parkin, already a double winner this season in the Tagiwa Roadsports series. The only driver to have won more than once overall this season. New fastest lap to Ian Jones now, 1:45, 1:75 in third place. He's got the gap down to pretty much 2 seconds now to Scott Parkin. He was just about a second faster than Parkin on that lap, but they're all of the first 4 doing personal best lap times now. The top 4, by the way, is Ball, Scott Parkin, Jones, and now Graham Crowhurst at 15 in the BMW 3 and 4th.
Here's the chase on our screen. There's Ian Jones, but Parkin in turn was a full second quicker than Darren Ball, so they're all closing up. Still with 10 minutes of this race to go, so this is a real chase between these top 3, just 5 seconds between them, and the fastest is the one at the back of the group. Meanwhile, just looking back at local man Tom Stanway there, one of the Class B runners, getting all sideways. That was all quite exciting, and he is a little bit further down, but he was getting a position. That was the position. He just passed on Monday for 5th in Class B, so that was a good move, and he just has set the fastest lap in Class B as Tom Stanway, so he's enjoying these dry conditions as off the Class B contender Will Puttergill. There is that a problem with the Motion Honda, which, if it is, a drama for the team overnight to fix that for tomorrow's Clubman Cup Championship decider in the Club Enduro Championship. Yeah,
indeed. So there is Darren Ball then, and we've got the 3 leaders pretty much all in the same shot now. Darren Ball number 25, Scott Parkin number 1, Ian Jones number 117. There's 5.4 seconds separating them at the start of the lap. Into the pits for an unscheduled stop has come number 55, which is Richard Stanton at this stage of the race, but that looks like there's some issue with the car there, as the race leaders are about to cross the line again. They do. Darren Ball completes his 17th lap, and the gap's come down to 2.2 seconds, because first Scott Parkin and then Ian Jones successively do new fastest laps of the race, with Ian Jones at 1:44.491.
Dan Sylvester's getting a 60-second penalty for a pit stop infringement. I suspect we've got cars off at the old hairpin again. It's the Dave Connell Mazda that's involved. Someone else had to go gravel trapping, but a big drama for our Class B leader, Ian.
Yes, absolutely right. 60-second penalty. Just not looking to see if we've got any notification of exactly what that's for, but I can't see anything on the time screen. I can't see anything on my WhatsApp group as well, where I might find these things out. So that's a big problem for Dan Sylvester. That's going to promote Liam Crilly certainly into the lead in that case.
Unless the overall leader is between the 2 cars at the end of the race. So Will Puttergill went off into the gravel, seemingly. Whether he just drove into the gravel for no apparent reason, I'm not sure. But the marshals have brought the car out of the gravel. So again, great work from the marshals in this race. We're keeping green flag conditions. There's Graham Crowhurst, who's up to 4th, lapping a similar pace to the leaders, who are turning through the S's. Darren Ball leading the way. He's got a lap the Mazda that had that spin a moment to go. Is Scott Parkin continuing to chase? Yes, he certainly is. That's less than 2.1 seconds back to the Audi. Got confirmation on our screens of the penalties also for number 16. The and one 6, so that's different cars, isn't it? To what
Yeah,
we've
and I think
already got.
both of those were reported not to be parked at a 45-degree angle. They were sort of parked parallel to the pit lane, if you like. And so that's what that will be. So that may well have been the case for Dan Sylvester as well. That was pitched outside the window for Dan Sylvester. So both he and the 27 car, which is Sean Trainer, stopping outside the pit window. There must have just been a momentary late getting into the pit lane. There's Sylvester now on screen, the class leader, number 37. It says A on his car, but we've shown as entered in Class B.
It's his hot hatch class, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But that's a bit misleading. But he is a Class B entered car today, and he's got that penalty headed over him.
So what he needs is the overall leaders to lap Liam Crilly, but not him, because that would mean he will have done one more lap. So despite the minute penalty, would keep him ahead. But that's certainly not guaranteed.
Michael Downey into the pit lane, I can see, in his fourth Boxster.
That was the car that got caught up in the Mazda spin at the old hairpin when he went through the gravel.
So we've got Dan Sylvester, the Class B leader, just heading down to the Melbourne hairpin, just checking some Class C situation. That's still Sam McKee, and he's still well clear of Sam Dennis in that class. So BMW versus Honda. 37 car though is slapping the Mazda after the MR2 here.
That's the car second in Class D behind the Cogswell Nissan. There's Mark Burton, who has been a Class B winner this year at Croft, but he hasn't featured in the sharp end. He's 6th in class today. He's battling with the Sirocco just behind, actually, for class position. That is now got Stephen Cook behind the wheel. You see that dry line that has developed. Andrew Cooper and Ben McCauley are together. Are they in a battle? I think they might be. Yeah, much further down the order than perhaps they would like. 5th and 6th within Class C. Ian Jones has just set the fastest up of the race, and the top 3 are together. I don't know if we can pick them up. I think they're at the first corner, perhaps. Just 3/4 of a second between them, and Darren Ball and Scott Parkin were side by side, heading onto the Craner curves maybe at the moment. Here they are, Ian.
Yeah, they are, and you've got the 3 leaders together. We've got 5 minutes of the race left to go. This is a grandstand finish for a Saturday afternoon, and it's Darren Ball leading. It is Scott Parkin in second, number 1. It's 1:17. Ian Jones in third, but Ian Jones is the fastest man out there. The 1:43.034. Parkin's in a 1:43 as well, but Darren Ball's best lap still only a 1:44. There's back markers ahead. That's first one is the Sam Dennis car, who's going well in Class C. Also the Downey Porsche, which is back into the race, having made a trip into the pits. That's the next car that they are going to have to lap. But they're lying astern as they go through Coppice Corner now, down the Exhibition Straight, past that Porsche they go, and different lines being
We'll need a chalk up here because I'll not be able to leave it in the road. Cheers, mate. I'm unplugging. Thank you. Cheers.
Luke Browse and Father Paul. Then the football Class B cars, so 7th overall, number 37, Dan Sylvester. 8th, number 12, Liam Crilly. 9th, number 95, Tom Stanway, completing the Class B podium. 10th is number 23, Matt Creed. Then it was John Monday, Mark Burton, who did well actually, made progress up the order during the course of that race. Then the Cooks were 13th, and the Tidmarsh and Webster Ginetta G40 from the pit lane. Excellent result to get to 14th place, ahead of Mark Grice, number 127 of the Audi, in 15th.